Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Good.
So today we are talking about the Señorial Maduro Natural El Cuadro. This is kind of a Corona Extra cigar. It's 5 3/4 by 46 ring gauge. Comes out of the Tabacalera Palma factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrapper is Mexican San Andres. The binder is Dominican Piloto Cubano, and the filler is Dominican Piloto Cubano and Dominican Criollo 98. Blended by Jose Blanco. Price point is $7.50. The cigar was released in July of 2016. So, Jiunn, what was your pre-light experience like?
Um, Within the look of the cigar, aggressive box press, toothy Maduro shade wrapper. Veins well pressed, seems tight, visible. Um, the bunch of roll felt really well done. Uniform give, no soft spots. Head, nicely applied double cap. Smelling the wrapper, I got charred oak, fresh barnyard, and white pepper. Smelling the foot, strong white pepper, spicy cedar, and just like a stale cigar smoke. Cold draw, lip tingling white pepper, nuts, and dry wood. So overall, really well presented.
Yeah, wrapper was dark brown, had some marbling to it. There were a couple of veins visible, but they were pressed well. The cigar overall has a very distinct rectangle press, which I think is kind of what caused some of the seams to be visible and slightly lifted. Um, it was very tough to tell how many caps that there were because they're just applied so smoothly. The band's very nice with some intricate artwork and lots of gold borders and lettering. The band also lists the Maduro distinction on there. The aroma from the wrapper was a very creamy cocoa, and the foot gave a decent amount of sweetness that provide a bit of raisin-like quality to it. Pre-light draw brought a nice mixture of the aromas that I was getting from the wrapper and the foot. So it kind of resulted in something that kind of smelled like raisinets or tasted like raisinets. There was also like a decent spicy tingle that I was getting on my lips as well. So it was a really nice aroma and nice flavor from that pre-light draw. It was pretty interesting. So flavor-wise, first third through final third, what was your experience like?
Overall, within the whole cigar, strength and body, medium to medium full. Within the first third, initial handful of draws, what stuck out to me the most was this. There's a sense of like meatiness that I got from the cigar, and that meatiness was followed closely by cream nuts, dry white pepper, burnt toast, and a stale dry wood. The retrohaling, deeper white pepper and mixed nuts. Finish very lengthy with like a dry seeded kind of a pepper heat, like a jalapeno pepper heat, stale wood and cream dry nuts. And the second, moving on to the second third, surprisingly, the complexities flavors takes a significant dive. I'm mainly now left with stale wood, dry white pepper, cedar jalapeno pepper, and faint mixed nuts. The retro is probably my favorite part of the cigar at this point. So it still gave me that greater depth of white pepper, mixed nuts, and cream nuttiness. Retro still lengthy, dominated by that seeded jalapeno heat, followed by stale wood and mixed nuts. Within the last third, moving on to the last third now, a stale bitterness formed in addition to those pre-existing flavors of that stale wood, that jalapeno pepper, and the faint nuts. The retro still continuously my favorite part, getting me more intense white pepper, mixed dry nuts, cream nuttiness, and I started getting a little bit of stone fruits. Finish still lengthy with toned down dry seeded jalapenos and stale wood. But overall, started out really promising, and then it just absolutely took a nosedive.
Yeah, initial draws brought some woodiness, some cream, and a slight cinnamon undertone to it. Retrohale was slightly creamy wood. And then a quarter inch in, the cinnamon went away and kind of replaced by a slightly dull black pepper that was in the background while that creamy wood remained up front. An inch in, slight cocoa joined into the background with the pepper and the creamy wood up front. And an inch and a half, the cocoa and the pepper leave and a little earthiness kind of joined in with the creamy wood. And as the third came to a close, some pepper rejoined the profile in the background while the creamy and earthy wood was still up front. And the strength level was just slightly above medium. And then getting the second third, the profile was creamy and earthy wood, a little bit of black pepper in the background. And then a quarter inch in, some cocoa returned to mix with that existing profile. And then at half an inch in, the cocoa left along with the cream, and then the profile was just kind of earthy and woody. And then an inch in, some ashiness joined in with the earth and the wood. And then 1.25 inch, that ashiness left and some cream came back in to mix with that earth and wood. And as the third came to a close, the profile was creamy and earthy woodiness, and the strength was at the medium full level. And then getting to the final third, the earthiness left the profile and kind of left a creamy and slightly dark wood. And the retrohale was wood with a slight ashiness to it. And then a 1/2 inch in, the wood gained a little bit of char while that cream remained there. And on the retrohale, the ashiness had left in the wood as kind of the lone component. And then at 1 inch in, the wood becomes a little bit green as it has a slight bite to it, but the cream was still present there. And the cigar finished out with that green wood and cream, and the strength remained at that medium full level. So performance-wise, what was your experience like?
Burn was perfect. Solid, tight ashes in 1.5 inch self-tap increments. Smoking time, great, 2 hours. Draw was just good. It was a little too snug. And sometimes I felt like it was a little too much effort was being used, and it became a little bit of a focal point, but it was still good nonetheless.
Yeah. In the first third, half of the wrapper didn't want to burn, so I needed to do a touch up on it. The burn light was fairly wavy the rest of the way, and the cigar went out on me twice and required relights, so it was kind of a little bit of a battle there. Ash held on at about 1 inch increments when I didn't have to tap it off to do relights, so it wasn't too bad. The draw was pretty good through the first half, and then kind of tightened up quite a bit on me for the remainder of the cigar, so there was a little bit of struggle in the second half. So what were your overall thoughts on the cigar?
I thought the cigar had tremendous potential based on that first third. And I was hoping that, that first year's mixture of like the spice, heat, cream, and earthiness. I thought I was hoping it would just build throughout the whole remaining experience, but it was actually the opposite of that. I was excited to see Piloto Cubano listed as part of the leaves that Jose used. Because it reminded me of when I smoked his Señorial 65th anniversary. Mm-hmm. It has such a depth of really awesome cinnamon and cream nuttiness. It was sweet. It was creamy. So I was anticipating that. But yeah, I mean, this blend didn't quite do it for me. Perhaps it felt a little bit rushed. So maybe down the road. It'll change.
Yeah. Flavors were pretty good through the first third, and then kind of the burn issues caused a bit of havoc with the flavor the rest of the way, I think. I hope it has got an anomaly with the construction. It seemed like you had a little bit better regards into burn and things like that. So I also think the strength level would be toned down a bit if I had a little easier draw in that second half of the cigar. But I think the first third showed what this profile could provide. So I'm very interested to kind of revisit this to see if the experience would be different. Like you said, maybe some more time on it would enhance that and make it a little bit more well-rounded cigar. So getting into the scoring, I gave it a 5.4 and you gave it a 5.93. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
It matched well. I mean, if I didn't rate my burn so high, I think I would have been way more closer to you. But in terms of the actual smoking experience, it was overall average.
Yeah, I mean, we matched up identical in score other than the burn. So you were really high. I was kind of below average. So that's the only real difference for us. So first third was good, and then like you mentioned, I thought it was going to be a good trajectory here with the cigar, but it just didn't seem to be that way. And mine might have been due to some of the burn and draw issues, but you had a similar experience without having those things. So. Who knows? Maybe time will be a friend of the cigar. I'd be interested to find out. Any other final thoughts from you?
No, I mean, I would say I'd love to see what else Jose has, but he's not doing it anymore. So
yeah, we'll see if he does anything with Ernesto over there. So
for sure.
Well, if you're just catching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us there, but also go to the website developingpalates.com to read the full written review. Make sure you follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. You can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts as well, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.